So I think we should go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Los Angeles County Bar Association Town Hall Candidates Forum with the two candidates for the office of President-elect. I'm Smalley Edmon, your moderator for tonight's forum. The rules for tonight are simple. Each candidate will begin with an opening statement, up to 4 minutes each, and then we will move to a series of 8 questions, alternating back and forth and covering the topics of governance, section relations, the mission of the LA County Bar, finances, membership, advocacy, paraprofessionals and the justice gap, and counsel for justice. I've been given questions by the LACBA leadership. I will ask each question and the candidates will have 2.5 minutes each to answer. I will alert each candidate when the time is up by giving a wave, and then recognize the other candidate for a response to the question. After the questions and answers, each candidate will be allowed up to 4 minutes each for a closing statement, the order opposite to the opening statements. Both the order of the opening statements and the candidate to receive the first question was determined by lot in advance of this forum. And with that, let's welcome our two candidates. We'll begin with an opening statement by Joanne Grace.
Thank you, Lee. No one is satisfied to maintain the status quo, and that doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. To the contrary, LACBA is headed in the right direction once again. It is proceeding intelligently, with determination. It's making progress, and I want to see it continue in the present direction. LACBA's membership has plummeted over the past decade or so from 20,000 to under 10,000. Every year it has been losing money, but through the highly able leadership, starting with Mike Meyer, the 2017-18 president, and with an executive director who is innovative and dynamic, the organization is being revitalized. In 2015, I was a trustee. I was concerned about the financial stability of the organization and the excess power vested in the then CEO, the lack of responsiveness by staff and members' needs, in particular, a desire to regiment the sections rather than servicing them. One morning, I looked at the agenda for that night's Board of Trustee meeting. It was so, it would have stripped the sections of any smidgen of autonomy. I was on the executive committee of the senior lawyers section, of which I am this year's chair, and I knew our section and the others were being treated badly. I sent section emails to the section leaders and they reacted. They were primed to attend that night's meeting. However, Brad Pauley, who then chaired the appellate lawyers section, received an assurance that the matter would be put over for a month. And it was. A bevy of the section leaders attended the November meeting. They included 2 past presidents of LACBA and 2 future presidents, Ron Brodt and Brad Pauley, who will assume the presidency July 1st. On that November night in 2015, while the board was in executive session, the section leaders talked among themselves in the hallway, and that was the genesis of the council of sections. I was the only trustee to join the council. The group in 2016 put together a slate of candidates for officer positions and trustee spots. It won the officer positions and each of the trustee seats for which it had a candidate. That was the first LACBA contested election in 35 years, the second in its history. The Council of Sections has endorsed me, and I'm proud to have the support of the leaders of the reform movement, including Mike Meyer, his successor as president, Brian Kabatek, the next president, Ron Brodt, and the current president, Tammy Jansen, along with past presidents Charlie Michaels, Harry Hathaway, John Taylor, and many more. While Anne was on the peripheral of the reform movement, I was in the center of it. And look what it has done. The sections can put on programs as long as they operate in the black. The financials, which used to be a secret, are readily available. Even the bylaws were a secret. They're now online. So is the agenda. LACBA has stopped giving away $1 million a year, depleting its reserves. The organization is on the upsweep, and I want to keep it going in the way it's going.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to have an opening statement from Ann Park.
Thank you, Justice Edmon. First of all, thank you so much to the Elections Committee for organizing this. Thank you to Justice Edmon for being our host, and thank you all for attending tonight. We all have our busy schedules, our work and our family commitments and our Netflix. And so there's certainly other things we would rather be doing than to be at this town hall. But the fact that you are here tonight means that you really care about the Los Angeles County Bar Association. And for that, I am very grateful. I care about the LA County Bar too. That's why I'm here. I'm currently Senior Vice President. I was selected by the nominating committee over Joanne Grace to be Senior Vice President. And then again, this year, I was selected by the nominating committee over Joanne Grace to be the president-elect. And I have a 30-year history of working with the Los Angeles County Bar Association. In fact, when you look at the nomination committee materials, it's rather surprising that I've been involved in the Los Angeles County Bar longer than Joanne has. I've been involved in the bar since the early 1990s. Joanne started in the early 2000s. We all care about the bar. I have been so grateful to and so happy to have served with so many amazing people. I was part of the reform movement. I helped lead the reform movement. I helped lead the council sections. It was only when I decided to run against Joanne that I was ostracized by the council sections. But I still believe, obviously, in the goals of transparency and accountability and good governance. And that's why I'm here. What I want to talk about is, and I'm sure we'll go through this as we go through the hour, is to talk about focusing on the 4 missions of the Los Angeles County Bar and strengthening those missions and the lessons that we've learned during the pandemic on how we can build a bar association for the 21st century. And those 4 missions are, number 1, the reasons why people join the bar. Number 1 is fellowship. Number 2 is building your practice. Number 3 is education. And number 4 is community service. So what we've learned during the pandemic is we can do a lot of these things online, and we've been pushed into the virtual space a lot sooner than we would have had it not been for the pandemic. And it's been really an amazing to see the transformation of the bar during the last year, the fact that we've actually grown our membership during the last year. And I hope to continue in that growth by making sure that we appeal to the interests and the needs of all Los Angeles lawyers, including younger lawyers and more diverse lawyers. I'm looking towards the future. I'm not looking back towards the past. And I hope you will join me in that effort. We are an amazing organization of completely volunteer lawyers who devote our time and our energy to make the legal profession better for everybody and to make the community a better place. And so I'm really, really excited about the future of the Los Angeles County Bar Association, and I hope you will join me in that effort. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now let's turn to our questions. The first question relates to governance. The first person to answer this question will be Ann Park. All right, both of you have been members and leaders with the association for many years. What does LACBA do well, and what could we do better from a governance perspective for the Board of Trustees, the sections, the committees, and our relationship vis-a-vis our allied and affinity bar partners? And
There
private.
is, yeah, there is so much we could be doing better. A lot of our governance structure is a relic of how we used to operate. And for instance, there's no reason the elections process should last a month. We should be able to get this done in a week or so. I'm not sure why in an era of email, we need to do a whole month for this. Also, there are, we need to have better relationships. And what Phil Lamb has done in terms of bringing in the affiliate bars through the eHub and strengthening relations with the affiliate and affinity bars has been a wonderful, wonderful thing. We also need to more clearly delineate the relationship between the Counsel for Sections and the main bar, and to make sure that those relationships are very clearly set out, and that there's very clear lines drawn about how finances work between the two organizations. And I know the task force on CFJ has been working on that, and I hope that they will continue in that fine work. We also need to talk about governance in terms of avoiding conflicts of interest. And there's a very serious conflict of interest right now in that Joanne is now our landlord. Not only is she running for president-elect, but she's also the landlord of the association, and she's collecting $500,000 in rent from us in the next 2 years. And in my view, and in the view of many people, that is a troublesome relationship, and we should try to avoid conflicts of interest. Roland Coleman, who's one of my supporters, along with many other former presidents of the bar, put it this way, and I'll just read this very quickly. One of the reasons he's supporting me is that, quote, "With so many harmful recent allegations about a local very prominent attorney, I believe it is more important than ever to avoid even the appearance of something that could be considered untoward. Being an officer of an organization and simultaneously that organization's landlord is fraught with potentially unwanted negative implications. With organizations representing attorneys, including the state bar, receiving negative publicity lately, I believe it is the better course to avoid a potential harmful publicity." Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Joanne, the same question, governance question to you.
Well, how shall I say this? That's a bunch of nonsense. There is no conflict. What happened was that LACBA was trapped in a lease at 7th Street with 2 floors of the building, and it could not afford to pay for them. It tried to sublet, it did not work. And ultimately, we stopped during the COVID to not pay the rental fees, which were running about $100,000 a month. And finally, LACBA came to the position where it could not handle its obligations when they came due. The definition of bankruptcy. LACBA was bankrupt. And Tammy got a bankrupt counsel. He came out, he told us, we handled everything on bankruptcy. And what happened was I offered LACBA free, at no charge, storage space to move out of the 7th Street location, which would stop the $100,000 a month lease payments. LACBA President Tammy, Brad, our executive officer, Stan Bissey, came over. They looked at the premises, they walked away. And to my surprise, they came back with an LOI asking to lease it. This lease was reviewed by their counsel. The lease went to the full board of trustees, and it was executed at their request. Because it was LACBA, and because I love LACBA, by the way, and I've been a legacy member 48 years. So there we go. We did a lot of extra stuff for them. LACBA had limitations. They wanted the rugs cleaned. We replaced the entire rugs, LACBA, Stan Bissie's preferable carpeting. That's all there is to it.
All right, thank you very much. The next question relates to section relations. And Joanne, you're going to get to answer this question first. Here's the question. The sections have always been an integral part of LACBA's value proposition for its members. How would you support and build on that base to grow membership, expand opportunities for leadership, and further represent the existing and emerging practice areas represented by our sections?
Our sections are beyond a doubt the heart, and their listservs are the heart of LACBA. Virtually 90% of members are at least one section leader. 98% of our members belong to the sections. They are important to us, and they need to have more presence at the board's meetings. The sections are not adequately represented. They should have a facility for their discussion at the board meetings. The sections also have the opportunity of organizing within an organization of their own, and the affiliates are well welcomed to the same position. I don't know what else we can do except let them know what we are doing when it comes to protecting the sections and giving them the viability that they need. There's nothing else that they can do except be present.
Thank you. Anne Park, the same question to you.
Well, the sections are the lifeblood of LACBA, and they are the energy, and they are the dynamism of LACBA. And it's been so exciting to see what's been happening with the sections. Look what Caroline Vinton has been doing with the small firm and solo practice section. Unbelievable, great energy, so much work, and so much incredible connections and networking are going on there. Look at the new cannabis section. What a fantastic way for lawyers to connect with each other and learn about this really exciting practice of law, this new field. And we have, starting today, or I guess Monday, today is Monday, the new diversity in the profession section, where we have converted the old diversity committee to a section. So we have to support and strengthen the sections. I believe in giving the sections more autonomy. I believe in giving the sections more control over their finances. I understand, for instance, that the litigation section had a surplus in its budget this year, but we're told that that money has disappeared. Well, I think that we have to come up with a policy that allows sections to maintain more control over the money that they are able to raise. A portion of that money certainly needs to go back to LACBA Central in order to support all the functions that LACBA Central provides to sections. But at the same time, the sections should be allowed a little bit more autonomy to be able to decide what they want to do with the money that they themselves have raised. The other thing I think we should really do is to formalize the Council of Sections, is to make it part of LACBA. I remember 3 years ago, there was a proposal to do exactly that, to make bylaw changes, to make the Council of Sections part of LACBA. And I remember that it was very strongly argued against by Roger Grace and some others. And now I understand why that is. I think that the Council section should have a formal voice in the governance of the Los Angeles County Bar, more than just 3 board members on the board. They should have more of a voice and more of a say in what happens with the Los Angeles County Bar Association. So I hope that we can get that into effect. Thank you.
All right, the next question relates to LA County Bar's focus and mission. And Ann Park, this question goes to you first. LA County Bar's vision statement concludes that LACBA envisions being the leading organization of lawyers in Los Angeles County and the state of California, with a stable and growing membership, a sound fiscal structure, creative programming, and effective advocacy for lawyers, the rule of law, and for access to justice. Incorporating these concepts, can you each share your vision for the bar if elected to serve as president-elect?
Sure. If you go to my website, which is www.istandwithann.com, you can see more of this set forth. But my vision is really to build a bar for the 21st century, and specifically focusing on the 4 areas I talked about earlier, which is fellowship, building your practice, education, and community service. And what I have found is that the pandemic has really shown the path for us in terms of building these 4 areas. The pandemic has certainly disrupted all of our lives and been very difficult for many of us. But as my spin teacher likes to say, through struggle comes strength. And what's so interesting is that we've actually come out of the pandemic stronger than we were before the pandemic. For instance, in the on the subject of networking, we've been able to find out that we can network virtually. Mark Hirati and Jeff Darr and Aaron Joyce have been responsible for organizing these fantastic virtual networking sessions where we get to meet lawyers from all over the county. And it's just so great to reconnect with all these people that I haven't seen for many years. I saw Paul Sepnick, with whom I served on the LA Bar the Judicial Evaluations Committee back in 1998. And I saw Steve Rauscher, who was a summer associate when I was at Heller Ehrman in the early 90s. And what's so great is you don't have to get in the car, you don't have to get dressed up, you don't have to waste gas or pay for parking. You can get together and meet each other and network. And it's been fantastic. So I think that's one of the ways we've been pushed into the virtual space by the pandemic, which has been fantastic. On the issue of practice building, same thing. We've been able to network virtually. Like Caroline Vincent has been having amazing meetings with her members to network and to share ideas, how to grow your practice, how to find clients, etc. It's been wonderful. In terms of education, another thing that we've been able to grow virtually. All of our programs have been online this year, and they've been tremendously successful. I've been involved with the Task Force on Racial and Social Justice, and we've organized these fantastic programs that I've had hundreds of people. We had 350 people at our task force on our session with Connie Rice. Anyway, I just want to say that the future is bright. It's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
And Joanne, the same question to you.
Well, we're absolutely, as we all know, changing the way we're dealing and meeting with people. And it has been beneficial for LACBA, which was sort of the downtown lawyer original association. But it has associated with for example, a beautiful program with the Italian American lawyers, of which I was president at the same time that Ann was president of the Korean Bar. And we have a great potential in that, in keeping it up, but we does depend on our relationships with our other bar associations, not just ethnic bar groups, not just people who are, I'm sorry, and not people who are part of a minority group or an ethnic group. We need to go to the local bars, the geographic bars. We need to share our visions with them and they with us. We need that relationship, which is broader than just a limited affiliation bars alone. And we've learned that also from some of the comments from the outer bars who don't really want to be affinity, but they would like a relationship, and we have avoided that for them, which is probably not the best way to work in a county as big as Los Angeles. We can do it.
Okay, the next question addresses LACBA finances. And Joanne, this one's going to go to you first. Here's the question. Most members are aware of the financial challenges the association continues to navigate. Most recently, the issues relating to the successful early termination of our long-term office lease. While there has been increased transparency, efficiencies, and progress during the past several years, what is your plan for continuing to build upon that progress and securing LACBA's financial health in the long term?
Well, for starts, let's make sure that we don't get ourselves involved as we did, or we don't be neglectful and turn our power of leadership over to what was a CEO who got us out for a minimal provision. We could have gotten out of that lease had she not given up the ability to do so. And that would have saved us $100,000 a month for years. Now we're basically stable. And now is the time to build on our membership, on our members, on focusing on our members. It is quite vital to members that not only do we do the technical and basically exciting practice forced sections. So sections are largely maintained by practice areas. There are also members on task force. Those members can be vital to bringing in other organizations, not necessarily bar associations, but other organizations within the county that we can work with, including the government, the state, the county. We're doing work with the county, and we can do more work with the county. We also need to remember to take care of our justice partners. The courts have had trouble and they need support, and in turn, they have supported us. Our Counsel for Justice, we help the courts, anything we can do to minimize the burden for the courts. And we can get people and the attorneys and their clients into the courtrooms as fast as they can get there, and it will work out very well. But we need that sort of support, and we need to give support.
All right, thank you. Anne Park, same question to you.
Well, finances, the way I think about finances is the way I think about real estate. What do real estate agents say when you evaluate the value of a home? It's three things: location, location, location. For the finances of the LA County Bar Association and for other bar organizations, finances depend on three things: membership, membership, and membership. We have to increase membership. We have to make LA County Bar membership indispensable to the practice of law in Los Angeles. We want to make it cool to be a member of the LA County Bar. We have to consistently deliver value to our members. They want to be a member because they are getting what they need from this membership. And those four things, again, as I covered earlier: number one, fellowship; number two, practice building; number three, education; number four, community service. So if we focus on delivering value in those 4 areas to our members every single day, and if we do it virtually so that people don't have to spend money, and if we to travel or to commute to attend meetings or to engage in the Los Angeles County Bar activities. And if we engage with our affiliate and affinity bars and make sure that they see the value of joining and being a part of Los Angeles County Bar Association, then we will continue to grow, we will continue to expand, and we will become successful and more financially stable. So I'm looking for, and also we need to, what I'd like to do is 3 things. Number 1, I'd like to get a professional involved to try to evaluate our governance and our membership structure, and maybe think about better ways, ideas on how to innovate and do better in the nonprofit space. Number 2, I'd like to focus on strengthening CFJ by getting more Cypre awards and grants. And I understand our new person who's in charge of domestic violence, Diane Trunk, she's really good at getting grants, so we need to do more of that. Number 3, I think we need to get more diverse. We need to bring in more people from diverse bar organizations, and we need to appeal to younger lawyers. And as long as we keep doing that, and by the way, I'm helping to build a law student membership committee to bring in more law students. So if we concentrate on building it from the ground up, we'll be successful. Thanks.
All right, that's a great segue into the next question, which relates to membership. And Anne, this one goes to you first. Membership at the LA County Bar Association has been declining for over a decade. While progress has been made to slow that decline, the challenge of retaining and recruiting new members remains. What do you see as LACBA's primary purpose or role, and how would you leverage that toward growing membership?
Well, I'm so glad that this is all coming together as a theme, but because our primary purpose is to create value for our members. We have to make it so that people think, oh my God, I'm not a member of the LA County Bar, I have to be a member. Everyone else is a member, I need to be a member. And part of that is increasing our social media presence. It's also giving services and things that people need. We need to build a community. LACBA, as I see LACBA, it's a huge, wonderful, diverse community of lawyers. We are together as a family to support each other, to support our courts, to support access to justice, and to make sure that each of us are successful and happy in the practice of law. And so what I'm hoping to do is to make sure that LACBA is providing everything that every lawyer needs to practice law in Los Angeles. If they want to meet people and other people, other people their age, they can do that. If they want to meet other people who practice cannabis law, figure out what these new regulations mean, they can do that. If they want to serve victims of domestic violence through the domestic violence program, they can do that. If they want to mentor high school students through our high school mentoring program, they can do that. It is a place where you can find happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction in the practice of law. I've certainly found it in my 30 years of being involved in LA County Bar. And I just think we need to make it attractive and cool to be a member of LA County Bar again. Thanks.
All right, Joanne, the same membership question to you.
We need to build membership through aligning ourselves with other bars. The Council of LACBA's county, LA County. How can I phrase this properly so that we get the sense of it? LACBA's memberships have benefits attached, but those benefits must focus on what the attorneys need. And yes, we should be something that they have to have because we provide them with protection and promotion. But it also depends on, look what we're doing, well, on the next one of the other subcategories that will come up. LACBA is not good about telling its members what they're doing. They need to have everything transparent. If they are doing something to concern about reaction to actions of the state bar, it would be best if all they did was tell the members that they were doing something besides sending out a letter. Big deal. It's not going to help you when you find a paraprofessional in the courtroom. So we need to focus specifically on our members. Friendship, nice. Networking, also nice. Saving your practice is even better. And LACBA can do it if it does it right. And it needs to reach up and down the state with the other bar associations to get it done right. And we have diversity, we have young people coming in. Our young lawyers section has stepped up immensely. It's doing a fantastic job of reaching out to the law students. It's doing networking for them. It's great.
All right, thank you. The next question, and Joanne, this is going to go to you first, relates to Counsel for Justice. As the 501c3 sister organization to the LA County Bar, the Counsel for Justice is responsible for funding and supporting the 4 pro bono legal services projects: domestic violence, immigration, veterans, and HIV/AIDS. How do you view the relationship between LACBA and the Counsel for Justice? And how would you, as president-elect, work to support the work of the 4 projects?
The Counsel for Justice was set up for 2 projects. Their mission statement is basically to improve the administration of justice and to deliver legal services to the most vulnerable in our community. Some of this history goes back to the CEO who got a little carried away with herself and could manage to increase her profit and her salary if she also included the Counsel for Justice. And that's how, for a long time, the Counsel of Justice was run, milking in a way funds from LACBA. So LACBA was actually putting out $1 million a year that it didn't have. And now we have managed to separate them. We have actually gotten our financials where they are separated. Certainly the Counsel for Justice will have to pay for its whatever overhead LACBA itself provides them. But the programs are more than just helping people. They are helping the courts, and that is critical. What those programs do are immensely valuable to the courts. And if you have a preference for one of these, please, I support the Domestic Violence Project. It is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And we have wonderful people handling these. And that is, we need to keep it. We need to help the courts, but that doesn't mean that it should be totally at the cost of LACBA. I'm sure if you look at the benefits and some of the people served, that went out to LACBA, the number of people, the 8,000 members we served, but we didn't send it out to the world as all. And we need to get it out to the world so they can appreciate what our members are doing.
Thank you very much. And Anne, the same question to you.
Well, the Council of Justice is the heart and soul of LACBA. I'm so proud of the work that they do every day to help victims of domestic violence, our veterans, our people with AIDS, and also people facing immigration problems. It's an amazing organization and we need to support it. There's been some misinformation as to the amount of money that the Council of Justice has taken from LACBA. And I know that the task force, the CFJ task force that Sarvanez Behar is on, and also Teresa Letts and Merite Reitfeld and Julia Burkle, they're looking at this issue, and I'm sure that they are going to be resolving that in a satisfactory way. But in any event, we, Council for Justice, people need to support Council of Justice. People want to support Council of Justice. People need a greater cause to believe in and support, especially young people. They need a cause to support. And the Council for Justice, we could easily, Susan Sullivan's doing an amazing job, Brian Condon's doing an amazing job. There are at least 4 things we can do to help strengthen the Council for Justice. Number 1, we should be concentrating on getting more high worth individuals on the board who are willing to, put out substantial funds to help support the CFJ projects. That's what a lot of boards do. We should be able to do the same thing. Number 2, we should have fundraising dinners for CFJ that really make a lot of money, the way Public Counsel does, the way the Asian Americans Advancing Justice does, the way that so many public service organizations are able to do. So we should be able to do the same thing. Number 3, we need to increase grants. And again, that's something we could definitely work on in terms of getting more grants from nonprofit organizations. Number 4, Cypre Awards. And I know Bill Winslow is working with the CFJ task force to help increase Cypre Awards. That is definitely something we should be concentrating on and getting more money on. I think Council of Justice is a source of incredible strength for LA County Bar, and we need to support it. Thank you.
All right, the next question relates to paraprofessionals and the justice gap. And Anne, this one goes to you first. Will you continue LACBA's strong opposition to the proposal now before the State Bar to allow paraprofessionals to practice law? And what are your thoughts on how we can best address the justice gap in California?
Well, this is a very difficult question, and I confess that I have a lot of work to do to study this. It's a difficult issue. On the one side, you have folks that are talking about expanding access to justice to people who can't afford lawyers. And the truth is that most of us really can't afford lawyers. Lawyers are too expensive. On the other hand, is the very important point that we as a bar organization need to protect lawyers against paraprofessionals who, under the proposals that are currently being considered, can do everything that we're doing up to going to trial. And that is not an acceptable situation. We have to be actively engaged in finding solutions that allow more access to justice to people. Right now, 80% of people that are in our court system are pro per because they can't afford lawyers. And Justice Edmon knows, as a justice of the court, as a former chief judge of the LA County Superior Court, how difficult it is to have litigants that are not represented by lawyers. So hopefully, I confess to not having spent a lot of time researching this, and we need to have a committee of board members that actually is working on this issue to try to come up with solutions to address the justice gap that doesn't empower these paraprofessionals that are taking work away from our members. So that would be my proposal, is to establish a task force at LACBA to study this issue and come up with good proposals to try to deal with the access to justice gap.
All right, thank you. Joanne, same question to you.
I'd like to see LACBA take a stand on this issue and only on the issues that are related to the purposes of a bar association. It should promote the interests of its lawyers and judicial officers. Right now, as it stands, someone who has graduated from the law school, passed the bar exam, moral fitness review, should not be supplanted by a computer system that'll generate a will, or by a layperson with minimal training. The public has an interest in bringing down the cost of legal services, but neither the public nor the court system will benefit from rotten, just shoddy services. There is an easy way to handle this, and it does require legislation. Much as we have cover California, we need a system that protects people and assures them access to low attorney rates, to good counsel at reasonable rates. And this is an obligation of our entire state. It need not be pushed on attorneys only to support this, but it should be a statewide operation to assure that the people who need the services the most have a place to go, people to talk to, and a way to get those services. This would benefit the court system immensely, and it would benefit everyone.
All right, thank you. And our final question, and this relates to advocacy. And Joanne, this question goes to you first. LA County Bar remains one of the largest voluntary bar associations in California. How do you see that as a force for change? And ought we have a more vocal presence in Sacramento on issues that impact the professional success of our members and affect the rule of law?
Absolutely, we should have. Now, that raises the question of how do we work with other bar associations? We have a delegation to the Conference of California Bar Associations, which meets annually. And we have a presence with every other bar association in the state of California, and they should move as a unit. That bar association or organization, which is what it is, has traditionally had a lobbyist. Now, whether we're lobbying as LACBA or whether we're reaching out through the existing organization and the delegations to the CCBA, California Association of Bar Associations, and use their people, or whether we deal specifically on a specific issue with a bar association that is concerned about a particular issue. So LACBA needs to be able to provide advocacy in coordination with other bar groups, and if necessary, reach a legislative solution to problems that come about.
All right, thank you. Anne, same question to you.
Absolutely. We should be involved in advocating for issues that affect Los Angeles lawyers. That should be one of our primary responsibilities to the Council of Delegates. And and through other means as well. But I think one of the things we also need to be involved in issues involving access to justice more generally. And we should also be involved in trying to increase the diversity of the legal profession. The legal profession is the least diverse profession of all professions in the United States. And in California, even though Latinos make up 36% of our population, they only make up 7% of our lawyers. So I believe that one of our focuses should be on trying to help increase diversity. That's something I've been involved my entire life. It's something that I think that Joanne is maybe not as supportive of. There was a, I had a conversation with her back in 2018 about this issue, and she cited this book, The Diversity Delusion by Heather McDonald, as kind of talking about what her philosophy was in terms of the pernicious effects of trying to increase diversity. And so that is one of the reasons I decided to run against her for senior vice president, because I believe that diversity should be one of the central concerns of the Los Angeles County Bar Association. And we should do everything we can to help make sure that all people have access to justice, and also that we are diversifying our profession. Thank you.
All right, well, congratulations to you both. You really know how to pack a lot of information into 2.5 minutes. Now we are going to turn to the final closing statements. And the first 4-minute or up to 4-minute closing statement, it comes from Ann Park, and then we'll turn to Joanne for the final word. So, Ann Park.
Yes, I am very, very honored to have been selected by the nominating committee to serve as president-elect of the Los Angeles County Bar in 2021-2022. I'm also honored to have been endorsed by many of the former presidents of this association, including Margaret Morrow, Pat Phillips, John Brinsley, Richard Chernick, the Honorable Lori Zelon, Rex Heinke, the Honorable Patty Schnegg, and Alan Steinbrecher, and Gretchen Nelson. There's a long list of past presidents and a long list of people who have been active in our community and in our bar that are listed on my website, which is www.istandwithann.com. I hope you will join these distinguished members of our community in endorsing me, and I hope you will vote for me as well. I think that we are an amazing, incredible community of volunteer lawyers that want only to make the legal profession better for everyone, and to make our community a better place for everyone. We want to support our courts. We want to help ensure access to justice. And I think that together, the future is very bright and very exciting. And together we can build a 21st century bar association that is indispensable to the practice of law for every single lawyer in Southern California. So I look forward to working with you in building that bar association. Thank you.
Thank you. And Joanne.
Well, for starts, my position on diversity has been distorted in a whisper campaign, I would say. And the book that Anne took exception to is a favorite of the former Langston Bar president, who agrees with it completely. It has to do with whether we share values, and of course we do. Diversity in this bar is interesting because at one point, maybe 20 years ago, it was more diverse than it is right now, which is really amazing to me. I think it was with our coordination with other bars. I have over the year been members of Langston, MABA. I have relationships and endorsements from many of those people I have worked with in the past. It is not about diversity. It's about doing right for everyone. And certainly no one has been excluded from LACBA. LACBA was one of the earlier bar associations with a Black president. LACBA is not worried about diversity. It just needs to do what it does right now. It welcomes everyone. We did not need to have this. We did not need to have this contested election, Anne. But if that's what you wanted, that's what you got. I'm sorry. If we didn't have an election procedure, the 2016 nominating committee's choices would have taken office. And we would be bankrupt years ago. Advocacy is all about membership and help for our members, all of our members. I notice you were concerned about advertising, but I see no reason that the electorate should not know as much as they can. And I'm glad to see that you've changed your mind and position on that. We don't want to stifle anybody's speech and discussion. I know I don't. I regret that there has been this election. Had you chosen to run up the ladder in normal proceeding for vice president rather than competing for senior, the match would not have existed. I was president of the Italian American Lawyers and multiple associations. I've led so many of those groups. I know how to do this job. And I'm dedicated to LACBA and hope to serve as its president-elect, working with Brad and helping make an organization with a proud history destined for future productivity. Thank you for affording me this forum.
All right, thank you very much. And I must say, thank you both for the time and effort and thought that you've put into these issues and for your real commitment to making the Los Angeles County Bar Association the best that it can be. Thank you all who attended, and thank you to both of the candidates.
Thank you, Justice Edmon. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.